Welcome to the Apex Insiders. We got the season finale for the Indycar race at Nashville. So I got my man Nathan here with me. It is a little bittersweet, Nathan. I mean, this is, it feels like we were just talking about this. Felt like yesterday we just started the season, but here we are. We're at the end. Obviously, we know who the champion is. But yeah, this is it. This is Nashville Music City GP oval race. Well, welcome. How are you doing?
Doing good. Yeah, but was at that Milwaukee race there, so had to rewatch it this week. So I was enjoying lots of beers and brats, and wasn't able to have my full attention on it, but it was an awesome race. Yeah, it is crazy. We're at the final race here. It's kind of a wild season of the things we've learned of that. Alex Blow is going to win every race, and if not, he's going to be pretty close to it. And just the all the different disappointing drivers and some of these risers on the small teams like VK and Rasmussen, who we'll talk about. So a wild year, but still a fun year. Bummed it's going to be over, especially with such a long off season. But looking forward to getting my stuff together in the off season and seeing what we can do next year.
Yeah, and I don't know if I mean, it would be fun to do like a reflection pod later, in the year, but just to kind of tease it up a little bit because I think we've actually talked at length this year about this. This year has obviously been very challenging in terms of handicapping for multiple reasons, which I kind of posted in the Discord. Like one, at least for me, especially, I markets. We're limiting markets, right? We only have, outrights, some groups, top threes here and there. They're throwing out the head to head, with the exception of Indy 500 being. That's when everyone's in tune. Like that's like what you would hope to see every week, right? And NASCAR, Indy, or F1. Hell, I've even seen NHRA like pull out a lot of different, markets and stuff. At least options for head to head, right? Um, I don't know what happened after 2022. I mean, I kind of have a sense of what happened, but most of these books just, not enough action, they claim, but it's a chicken and egg thing. If you don't throw the action out there, then you're not going to have people. But then, you put the effort, we can get you some action, right? We'll have something thrown out there. So, guess to my point is it's like it's made that challenging to where we can't find the opportunities like we used to, especially in a season like this year where the predictability was very volatile, I guess you could say, week in, week out, with the exception of like Polo dominating, right? I think we had 4 or 5 race winners this year, probably, and most of it being Polo. So
Yep.
I think that makes it very hard for people like us that enjoy that. And I remember there used to be a day where I could log into even just my back alley bookie site and be like, wow, look at this. I got like a plethora of head-to-head matchups. It's great. I kind of miss those days. So, yeah, we can talk more about that at lengths, I'm sure. But at the end of the day, the results to going back to actual on-track results, it just hybrid era really impacted teams. There was obviously drama around Penske going into the year. How much did that have to play into the team working this year? Who would have thought? I think, what did you say? 6 DNFs or something like that.
Just on short ovals alone, yeah. And then
Yeah,
if you include the Indy 500, it's 9 DNFs and basically 15 attempts with their 3
that's
cars. So
crazy. Just
yeah,
crazy to think about. Like, and it's but on the positive side, we did see some really good racing at times, right? We saw some really competitiveness midfield wherever. So yeah, I mean, it's been very challenging in terms of if you wanted to stay profitable. And I set a high bar every year, and And unfortunately, that bar has had to shrink because I looked at my units list and I was like, wow, most of my units were on, guess when? Indy 500. Guess why? It's because I had so many markets to be able to work with. Every week, I'm just trying to cherry pick a market and I can't get it. So, the one thing I'll tell you is I've had conversations with Bet365 guy who helps do things for F1 and setting the markets there. So, I have some ideas. I think I have some ways that we can create some opportunities, but I'll just keep it at that. And that's something I'll discuss with you at some point, beginning of next year. So,
Well, yeah, well, that's exciting. Just got limited there a little bit, but hopefully
well,
at least some books will copy
no,
them
I
if
mean
that's okay
it
with
won't
them.
be direct. It's not him directly, but it's
Yeah,
something where it can start influencing the market. Let me just
for
put it
sure,
that way.
for sure. Yeah,
I was, I've been expressing my frustrations for many times, and I had a pretty good conversation. And I think something that you did this year, which I loved, was you did something that might be something we can think about for next year. But you did the Eliminator program for us, right? Was a lot of fun. And for anyone that's listening that doesn't know what we're talking about, it's just like a survivor pool. Every week we have to pick a specific driver, and you're basically carrying your points. And once you've used the driver, that's it. So yeah, that was very fun, right? And I think there's ways that you can leverage the way we were doing this process and trying to influence you know the broader US markets, I will say, when it comes to, you can show that there is value for having other markets. So yeah.
yeah.
Um,
It's a weird thing because there's momentum in the fact that the books were kind of on schedule and kind of early this year in posting lines. They were consistent. The last couple of years, maybe we got more markets, but sometimes they wait till after practice one, or we
yeah,
could just never know. And I almost have an idea of when they're coming out, and sometimes they even surprise me and come earlier, like on a Monday, like I think they did this week. But on the other side of that, we haven't got top five except for maybe one or
yeah,
two races. So we've kind of lost a market there, which is a really important market, at least for me. And when you have someone that's dominating like Pelot, that and you can only bet podium. Well, now you're down to two podium places
yeah,
to win a bet because Pelot is unbettable at podium, but he's going to take one of them. And so now I'm basically having to pick, with two spots left, and without a top five, it really hurts. It squeezes you. Um, and then also even when you bet Pelot, his odds are just so low. You can't have some of those big plus 7-1, 8-1 hits that we could get the last few years, and it just kind of felt like that. But so when you're hitting a plus 150 on Pelot, you'll take it every time, and it can add up. But it's hard to build units that way. So
oh yeah, yeah. I mean, there's
tough
a lot
year.
of. I think the last 3 or 4 races, I had maybe like 4 bets. I'm sorry, 3 bets every weekend. Last weekend, I had 4. I got suckered into Joseph Newgarden again.
Mm,
And then it was like 3 bets, 2 bets, 2 bets, 2 bets, 3 bets, right? 2 bets. Indy 500, I think I had 15. That's
yeah,
crazy.
and if you think about race one, we bet that race passes. What a cool market to bet.
Right.
And then they
Like,
just they dumped that. We didn't get top. We haven't had top Chevy, top Honda all year,
mhm.
aside from the Indy 500, and just some real simple markets they could throw out. Just have not been there, so it's just been really difficult to have outright and top three, and then one person is at collecting all of those results at such low odds. It's slim pickings out there.
Yeah, 100%, man. We'll see. I mean, again, I think there's a few things. The biggest thing I think we would all love to see is like qualifying. Give us qualifying.
Yeah.
Give us more than just race, right? Like I know that NASCAR, some books do that for NASCAR. I don't get it specifically for NASCAR at all. but I get it for F1, right? I'm always getting F1 gives you everything, so I won't even use them as a benchmark. But like if I benchmark against NASCAR, like there's people that have qualifying odds. I don't, you might have access to it. We need more of that, right? It doesn't have to be like over the top qualifying like in F1, but give us something, right? Like you can create a market. It's just we need someone to go out there and do it at the end of the day in US based market, because Bet 365, once they get more involved in more states, maybe they will push for that, which you would hope for. But like DraftKings, FanDuel, whoever else, Bet Rivers or something like that, need to get them more involved. But
I'm
yeah,
hoping with Fox on board as a third owner that they're going to push for that, because they want eyes on the race. And how do you get eyes on the race? Well, there's multiple ways, but one of them is if people have action on it. And so it would be wise for Fox to push for more partnerships and get Penske more open to that. I guess time will tell. I think they've had a lot of flaws this year, but I think they're doing a lot of good things. So
yeah. I mean, there's definitely a lot of things I didn't like from them, but also quite a few things positive. But again, maybe that's what we'll do. We'll do another podcast later in the year, or just to kind of tease up the 2025 season, and we could talk about these things from how we felt about the media, the drivers, teams, betting, and things that we will probably be doing for next year. So yeah, but let's quickly talk about the last race. Let's maybe quickly recap. I know, same with you. I had to actually miss the race myself. I actually ended up getting home, and funny enough, I forgot to push record from our online direct TV. And as soon as I looked, it said it's going to come on in 30 minutes. So I tried to watch it live at like 6 p.m. So I was kind of tuned in and out. It was had a few adult beverages that day. So
yeah, understood.
Yeah, it's Sunday, right? Yeah, it felt, I just won Rasmussen. I don't know what the hell happened. Like, got whatever power juice in his machine after that restart, and he wasn't just beating people. He was ass spanking even Palou. Like, he made Palou look like a sitting duck when he was going through. Like, that was actually pretty shocking. And they all kind of were in that same pit window too. Maybe a lap or two, right? Some did it earlier, some did it right when they needed to. I'm kind of like stunned about that. I don't know what to think about that, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, that really needs to, like, the more I think about what he did, that needs to go down as like not an all-time moment, but like a signature moment
It
of like
really does.
that
Yeah.
was insane. There was a random few sprinkles in the sky in this beautiful like blue sky day that had that caution come out, and then so other people went into. It's not like he was the only one on fresh tires.
Yeah.
I think he was actually one of the last on fresh tires in that group. You had like O'Ward and Rossi, and I want to say maybe one or two other people in front of him, and lapped cars. So that restart goes off, and I'm thinking O'Ward, he's got the best chance. He's the closest on the fresh tires, and that people are has some action up there first, but then Rasmussen is just picking people off in the craziest ways. His pass on the outside of Palou, who pushed him higher and higher, knowing that he was going on the outside. Nothing dirty by Palou, but just making him earn it. And Palou, Palou has 2 oval wins this year, including the Indy 500, and that was by far his most dominant and best oval performance he's ever had in his career. It may have just been his best car, but even if you have a good car, you still have to find a way to work through lap traffic, and Palou was just running through them. And McLaughlin is in second, and he's struggling to get past lap traffic, and that's how Palou was open up like a 10-second lead. So coming back to Rasmussen, you can imagine how he gets by some of these people. Like he gets by Lundgaard, okay, and then gets by his teammate Rossi and a few other people with aggressive moves, but he still had to chase down Palou, who had like a 2-3 second lead, and he did that in about 5 laps and made just it was ballsy, man. Every single move he was making, and then they had to tell him, with like 5 laps to go, they're like, dude, stop passing cars, like chill, man. You feel
chill
like
out. Yeah, he was like on a mission. It felt like.
He did an interview. He was like, "Dude, I have Alex Palou by me. I don't feel safe." Like he's like, "I'm running away."
I don't blame him. And you were at the race, so and while watching his onboard, I mean, going back to you saying that was an impressive race, like even before that stint, before that caution came out, he was on edge. The car looked like at any point, every time he was, getting out of the turn, getting on the throttle, it got a little oversteer, but he would correct it. And it felt like at any moment, the old Rasmussen would probably show up and he would lose control of it. But it was lap over lap. He was correcting every time, but he wasn't losing pace too. That was the funny thing. If anyone's seen the movie Driven, it felt like the movie where he's like constantly trying to pick up the quarters.
Yeah.
He was on edge. I just couldn't believe it. I thought that was, like you said, very signature moment. I know, like, if there was a way to define 2025, like that needs to be a moment in there. Like that was crazy. I'd never seen. Like you said, everyone kind of was in the pit. 2 laps, okay, that's not going to make it. 10 laps maybe makes it different, right? If you have that different. But he was just kicking everyone's ass.
And that's if it was easy to pat, then like Award being 5 spots closer would have just done it, or anyone
no one else
else
could have done. No one else was able to do and replicate what he did, which was funny. It's like most people, I just don't know what happened. It's like most people just dropped off, like, or just couldn't find the pace anymore. Whatever happened after that caution, there were cars that just couldn't find the pace. Some just maintained. And then you had a guy like Rasmussen who was just on a mission. It was very, very interesting. I honestly thought Joseph Newgarden was a little disappointed in him. I don't know where his true pace was. But he lacked it. I know that he had that little rub. I think it was with Rossi, kind of put him out of control. But I don't know, man. Like, I don't know what happened there. He looked fine. I knew he wasn't going to win the race, but he at least should be okay for a top 3. But it's like the man can't wait for this season to be over with 100%. So, couldn't tell you what happened to him, but I think another driver that was pretty impressive was actually Lundgaard. I think he's starting to improve on ovals. I don't think people should be discounting him anymore on all these ovals. I think he's really putting in that effort and really trying to gain an understanding on how to keep within the parameters of trying to keep the car in pace throughout every pit cycle, through everything. It's been pretty impressive. Knows when to push too. You could see that, like, he felt like there's more confidence in his driving in that. And then of course, Malukas, unfortunately, pit issue, bad luck, call it what you want. Totally bad luck. And I was a big fan of Malukas last week. Just unfortunate. I really thought the guy was at least going to stay in the top 5. I really did. So unfortunately,
he was the only one, at least briefly, that could take it to Palou. He passed him, and Palou eventually caught back up to him. But Palou was kind of in his own world. But Lundgaard has finished 6th in his last 2 ovals. The Iowa second race was a little bit of the madness at the end that didn't get there. But I think one thing that McLaren's very strong at Milwaukee. They've proven that, especially if Lundgaard's going to be getting that result. But just the fact that he keeps the car clean, he's not wrecking on these ovals, just gives him laps and experience to figure it out. So I think that's going to be really beneficial for him. Even when he was at Ray Hall, he wasn't wrecking those cars for how bad they were on ovals. And, he didn't really have anything to show for it, but, that maybe not next year, but 2 years, he could be a legit title contender. He's going to have to get really good at ovals because the only problem is that his best tracks are Alex Palo's best tracks. So, if you're always scoring less than the guy that, is the champion, then you might never get one of those. But he's been good.
Yeah. I mean, I won't hash a lot on Palo, but I think that just comes to show nothing against Palo. Obviously, the GOAT. Been doing just super fantastic in the series since he's come in. But it also is a testament to like how Chip Ganassi has helped get that car set up in the way to his liking, because it just seems like it doesn't matter the track, the elements, whatever it is, he's dialed in.
And they haven't slipped on one. They haven't slipped on one stop all year on that team.
None.
And a lot of them have been pressure stops. Since you're leading, people are trying to undercut, overcut. It's a high pressure stop every single time, and they just deliver and deliver. It's insane, their consistency, which consistency is like the name of this year of how many people have been inconsistent.
Yeah.
And he is just the model of like beyond consistent, because it's been greatness. But yeah.
Yeah, and again, going back to his skill set, how he compared to Dixon, right? Dixon, he's been around for a while, and I mean, but it shows like he is consistent. He knows what to do with the car whenever they're in qualifying. He knows what to do with the car whenever they are starting a specific strategy, whether they're on offset strategy or they're starting on strategy with like others. Like they just whatever they say they need to meet, they meet it or or exceed it. Like between him and his engineers, like you couldn't ask for anything better for him and the way they've run this season. So, and congrats to Daly as well for trying to push as much as he could. I forgot where he ended up actually. Where did he end up?
13th.
13th. So yeah. Because I mean, I don't know where he's gonna. I think there was rumors about him, but we'll see what happens. Some rumors. But yeah, the reason why I'm bringing up Daly is because him and Rasmussen had that little, I think he invited him on the podcast.
Yeah, because he always has the winner on, and he did. I haven't actually listened to that part of the interview. I started listening to the podcast. Daly seemed a little
annoyed,
close to depressed actually after this week, and maybe Rasmussen winning after doing that, because so many people keep telling Rasmussen like, oh, you keep racing like that, you're gonna see, or you're gonna, and then I mean he's got the second or third most oval points this year behind Belly Palo and Ward and Palo, and I don't think he's finished worse than 8th on an oval this year, which is insane.
Actually, that is. I didn't even know that. I like now that you're bringing that up. That is actually crazy.
Which is another, like, as far as the betting, I took Rasmussen top 3. I took him on GridRival, and I took him in a group bet. And they sitting there at 50 to 1 on outright. I have a list, I think, like right here, where I wrote down Rasmussen of who I was looking to take. And I just didn't do it. And I missed out on a 50 to 1. I'm going to be hurting about that for
I'm already pretty pissed because I wanted to do anything with Rasmussen, but I think it's because, like we talked about, it's like, oh, top 3, you only have 2 spots, or 1 spot, right? And I'm like, come on, like I feel like I'm just going to be throwing away money with Rasmussen. Something happens, he may be like 6th, 5th best. But I was like, you know what? Fuck it. Like, we're towards the end of the season. I'm not going to get any more IndyCar action. Should I just do it? And I just completely forgot. I said, you know
Yeah,
what, I'm gonna worry about it later. And now, when it hit, I was like, you've got to be kidding me. This fucking hit. Like,
yeah.
I
And
went
if
for
I need
Joseph Newgarden instead. I was like, you're God. Why did I do that?
maybe if I need to talk myself off the ledge on that one, Rasmussen was gonna finish fifth or sixth until he just put his balls in the dashboard and
Don't
just
know
like,
what happened, dude. Don't know
yes,
what happened. It's crazy. It's crazy.
yeah,
No, we'll have to do that next year then. Next year, we should do something where we say, all right, you just have this little gut feel, like, and then we'll talk it through. And then let's use those stats. Like, if we thought, like, hey, he's been in the top 8 every oval so far this year, maybe it is worth the top 3 in the win.
yeah.
You
Which
know,
just a thing I try to challenge myself with is I always try to guess when someone's gonna get their first win, and maybe it takes a couple of them. Like I bet Louis Foster a couple times already, but
yeah.
you know,
Maybe
and
next year.
people's first, yeah, maybe that comes. Maybe I'll, not that I try every race, but
Yeah, yeah,
maybe
yeah.
I like to see if I can get someone's first win, first oval win. And so to miss out on that Rasmussen one when I liked him so much and it was at 50-1, oh, that's gonna hurt.
I'll tell you what. Next year, I I I will put. I'm going to say it right now. Malukas will get one.
Oh yeah,
I think Malukas will get his next year for sure.
yeah. Which I mean, I was kind of, we'll get into it, but it's like thinking about Malukas today. I hadn't looked at him much, and he's sitting at 12-1 at best. Like,
It's
that's
not
not
like
for someone
it's
that's
not.
done
Yeah, it's but we'll see. But yeah, no. Let's dive into Nashville. So while we're here, so yeah, you got. I don't know if you did a track preview or anything. I've been juggling F1 all week and morning, so um,
Yeah, I didn't preview much. I just kind of threw some thoughts out. There's only one race history here with relevant track history. Um, and they will have the alternate tires again this race, which they did last year and they've done once before in the last couple of years. But it's kind of a non-factor, honestly. And Rossi said on his podcast too that it doesn't really change much. So I don't think we need to look into that too much. But last year's race was Colton Herta's first oval win, which I did successfully call, and I loved that one. He was pretty baller here last year, and Andretti was good overall. Kirkwood was on pole, and he was actually racing really well up until I think he kind of just got screwed on a pit sequence, caution timing, things like that. He still finished fourth because his last stint, he was just as good as Herta. So then you're probably thinking, well, should we go to Andretti this week? And I'm kind of leaning no because of how bad they've been in every oval aside from the 500. They had good performance, and it's just kind of wild. Daly kind of talked about at Milwaukee how the reason maybe they weren't quite as good, or other teams like Penske was still good but not like quite as dominant, is that every time these teams come back, they spend a whole year getting better. So the whole field condenses every single time they're at a race and it gets tighter. So I don't think we're going to see Andretti with such strength, such a gap of being so good. I still am back and forth that they could be strong, but I'm passing on them. They would need to prove it. Chip Ganassi's team did test here like a week ago, which before Milwaukee, which this year has led to teams being worse when they go to a track, it seems like, except for Chip Ganassi when they tested at the Indy GP and Polo won there. So who knows what that means. They are changing up the kind of the setups and the downforce and the drag on the car, again, to promote better racing, even though last year's race was pretty good. I think it started off a little slow with the passing, and then teams dialed in their cars. The races went on, and that's when the big action started with like Herta, and Newgarden was pretty solid, and Kirkwood, like I mentioned. Yeah, so that kind of leads me. I am going back to Newgarden one more time, like whatever. He wasn't good last week, I don't think. But if last week happened to be Iowa, I think everyone would be excited to take Newgarden for how good he's been, or St. Louis, or the Indy 500. Um, and I do think Newgarden never really got a chance to run at Milwaukee, even though there were 2 races last year. He about less than halfway through the race, he was stuck in traffic. He finally moved to the front and he wrecks with Ericsson. And then on race 2, lap 1, well, the race doesn't even start. It's a caution on the start, and Armstrong runs into him. So, I just need things to talk myself into it, but I can't take Palou. He's just too low of odds for an oval.
Yeah,
And
no.
for his, even though he looked amazing, I'm just kind of in the mindset this is a new week, a new race. I know we just saw what we saw last week, but Newgarden has been still one of the best oval drivers, probably the best oval driver this year, results aside, because just his year. But I took Newgarden and Award as my 2 plays, so that's where I'm at.
Man, I've bet those guys. Let's see.
Yeah,
I'm
how many
looking.
times, right?
Let's see. Power. Oh, well, that's power. So let me do a word, because I think I had no word bet. Oh, I think I just put Pato. Let me see. Okay, so I bet Pato last week, and I was like, it's more of like I think this number was good going into the weekend. Didn't look so great. So I've had 2 outrights in the top 3. None of them hit. Joseph Newgarden probably even more. I've had 1, 2, 3. I mean, again, I'm not doing a whole lot with it. None of them hit. It's been very tough for me to want to back those 2. It's been very frustrating. And to be quite honest with you, that's what I was hoping for this season. Wasn't like the 20,000 DNFs Penske was giving us, like give us some competitiveness. Hell, if Palou dominated you, at least give me some consistency, because it would make things a lot easier with what we were working towards. I'm just struggling. I don't know, like if I all right, I'm going to put emotions aside and say, yes, if I was just looking at your lens the way you're looking at it, yes, I'm going to Joseph Newgarden. I wouldn't take it top 3 minus 120, I think is what I got right now. But if you have him at even money and you want to take him before, the qualifying, go for it. You would think he would do well here, because then what? You have Colton Herta, Scott McLaughlin, Kyle Kirkwood, and like you said, I'm on the same boat with you with Andretti. They may look good. They just all year haven't seemed, outside of maybe some of these street courses, they have not been the same team that they've used to be, the dominant team. So maybe they need to go
Mm-hmm.
into the season and look at it. But then who do you pick? I mean, honestly, the weird thing is I keep eyeing David Malukas. Will he do something here? I'm not going to do it.
Yeah, I
So
just wish Malukas' number was a little higher for me.
yeah,
I do like him this week.
3-1
But,
is like, I
well,
think,
I mean, Pato has had essentially a championship year. He
yeah,
just happened to race against Alex Palou this year. I mean, and on ovals, he's finished third, second, first, fifth, and fifth. So we're looking at a floor of fifth for him this year. So he was second here last year and he actually his
yeah.
car wasn't dialed in. The Andretti's were way better. I'd say Newgarden was better, but um, yeah, I've just talked myself into it, and I'm feeling good
I
about it.
actually
So
that if there, because going back to both of those guys, if I'm going to do it, I'm definitely taking Pato over it. The odds are there for you to take that too, right? Like what is it, plus 150 on my spot, so you're getting at least some better odds with Pato. I might go in on that with you as well. I think, like, season finale, right? Let's do it. Let's just get it done. All right. I've kind of talked myself into that one.
that's I mean
I've got to hit one of these top
No,
threes.
we've watched it all year. We've said it all year. Eventually, it's gonna
It's
happen.
got to,
I'm,
right?
I'm gonna play dumb one more time, and if Plo does it again, what can I do about that? So
The last top three though that I say I've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've done 5, 6 top threes. I've hit one, and it was a big one. That was when I threw it all on the table on Lundgaard top three in Mid Ohio. But that was the one where I was like, no doubt in my mind, this guy is getting that.
yeah,
It's a little bit more tricky though. So I'm gonna do it. I love pain, people. I love pain, but you know what? Let's just ride it. I'm not gonna go crazy and do like 2 units like it did with Lundgaard. I'm gonna probably just do maybe something like a unit, maybe even less than that, and see how we see. Let me see some practice. So tomorrow morning is practice at 9. Well, I'm gonna use Eastern, 10:30 Eastern, and then qualifying is at 2 p.m. Eastern. Perfect. So I get to watch UT in Ohio State. Yes, and then I can either be happy or crying by the time it gets to qualifying.
it's gonna be a good finish to the year, I think.
I hope so. Okay, so I don't have any groups actually, which is kind of.
No, I don't think they released them.
Is there anything
There,
else? Do we have
there are
anything
some
else?
matchups. I have played
Let's
two of
see.
them.
Let's talk them.
I went back to Newgarden over Polo, so that's
Oh no.
at plus 120. I talked myself into Newgarden so much. I'm taking a matchup over Polo plus 120.
Well, okay, so that's a good play though. If instead of the top 3 that they're offering you for Joseph Newgarden at minus 118, you should just take him over Pillow. You're getting better odds. Don't even do the top 3. Do that matchup. Plus 120, and all you have to do is beat Pillow. Like, unless you really believe Pillow is going to be 1 and 2, or if you are that confident in Joseph Newgarden, you should just take that. That's
Yeah,
my
I know.
opinion.
I'm gonna pull out all the good things that are gonna happen. I mean, he already used up his rocket ship last week. He can't have that again. His pits team is probably gonna make a mistake this week, so it's everything's just gonna fall into place and it's gonna work.
We have the opportunity to do the funniest thing, and that's just say, fuck it, we're backing Pillow to win this one, which I still could do.
Yeah, which I do think that's one strategy to take. It's the fact they tested here. Last year, his Pelosi race, he started pretty far back with a poor qualifying, and then also he qualified 15th, and he had a grid penalty, I think, of 9 places. So he started 24th, and then he took off to start the race. He passed like 10 cars and made it to around 10th, and then he sat there because at that point he had locked up the championship if he was in that position. So I think part of it is that I think he finally reached cars that were more on his level because, initially he's passing the Ray Hall cars, stuff like that. And so he probably could have got a better result, but he also wasn't trying fully. But also I think he was starting to hit the competition that was more equal to him where he wasn't just going to fly by people. So
Wait,
hard to fully.
he started where? I'm looking at the qualifying results from last year. Where did
He started 24th, I think, because he qualified 15th.
Nine spot. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, because 15th. I gotta see, like, why did he qualify 15th? I mean, he looked fine in practice. It seemed like.
Yeah. Well, Dixon was 13th, so
Yeah,
I just maybe the team didn't have it.
Yeah, they were all 3, 13, 14, 15. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, Armstrong there.
I say, I don't. You know what? Call me crazy, but it may not be a bad thing to bet him this weekend. I wouldn't do it at his. What is his odds again? Plus 220. But it may. The guy. Nothing is stopping him from trying to win a race this year, even though he's locked the championship up. I think he just.
Yeah.
I mean, if I'm racing, Like a race car driver is always, if they get in the car, they're trying to get one. It doesn't matter what's on the line. You're trying to beat everyone on the freaking grid. So I don't believe in this, oh, he's locked the championship and he doesn't want to risk it. No, he's going out there and he's going to race for P1. There's some money involved too. Like people don't understand that. So it might not, I might get crazy and just say, fuck it, we're doing one last ride on him. And you guys might love me because I could jinx it. So,
well, IndyBet touched on this a little bit, basically saying you can back Polo, which is not a bad idea at all, or you could pick two guys to take on Polo, because Polo's odds are so low. You kind of just got your one shot there, but
Pato.
Yeah, which you actually still could fit in Polo and Pato and as your two plays, and the math still works there. It just gets a little tight.
Yep.
But
so you like and where was that? New Garden Polo?
That one's on ESPN. Mm-hmm. The other one I took was Ericsson over Ray Hall, Battle of the Mid. That was on Bet365. I did that for only 0.35 units. That's kind of my play in case Andretti, I mean, this guy's racing for his job. Mm-hmm. If Andretti still has that pace, Ericsson looked good here last year. Ray Hall has been, they struggle. Last year here, they were not any good. Ray Hall qualified 22nd and finished 23rd. He had nothing to show for. Ericsson, I think he had a mechanical or something, ended up finished 25th, but he was in the top 8 or something, I want to say, with the other Andretti's through mid-race. And then numbers-wise, Ericsson has a slightly better finishing average than Ray Hall, but it's the last race. I need something to bet.
I gotta, you know what? I was joking with Bet Indy because he said he was kind of eyeing Ericsson, which it's hard for me to want to back that guy this year. But I think in that matchup, I would totally take Ericsson. And I'm actually, you said that's on, is that on ESPN Bet or no?
That's on 365.
Oh, okay.
I think on ESPN, Ericsson's against, I want to say Armstrong or Rosenquist maybe, which I don't like as much. Armstrong, to shout somebody out on the, he's not putting podiums or anything, but he's consistently staying in that top 10 and getting results. But even though his team completely screwed him over in Milwaukee, not pitting him and letting him just get railroaded from first to like 17th on that restart last week.
Yeah.
There's lots of matchups on ESPN. I'm kind of, Lucas is heavily favored versus Daly. I probably would lean Lucas, but at minus 160, that's just way too
much.
Juicy. Too much. Armstrong is minus 140 over Ericsson. So once again, that's just, I like Armstrong there. It's just
I wouldn't
too much. And then you have the other classic like O'Ward and McLaughlin. That's way too close. Dixon and Power.
Don't want anything to do with those.
Too close, yeah. Herta and Kirkwood. It's hard to say who's gonna fall on their face. Who's gonna be okay.
Yeah, I'm with you. I can't trust those matchups, and this is kind of hate these. Wish they would give us a little bit more. Okay. All right. So I've been talked into, or at least maybe I've talked myself into, whatever, both things, into Pato. Just gonna do it one last time. One last ride is what we'll call it. Let's see who else has some value here. Like Malukas, you can. I just like, up to your point, I don't know if I want to do it at 3-1. But then again, I don't think it would get any higher than maybe 5-1, and Malukas would have to have a terrible qualifying. So if he qualifies okay, where did he qualify? If he qualifies 6th, he's not going to be in the 3-1 range.
No, and his qualifying average is 4.75 in the ovals this year. 4th, 10th, 3rd, and 2nd. So he probably is kind of a guy you might have to take. Let's see, last year he qualified 6th here, so.
But then again, like, is he really going to get top 3? This is the same mentality I had with Rasmussen. It's not like it's a lot of juice. Like Ras was what, 8-1?
I got him at 15-1 on the top 3. So
wow.
That was nice, but 15-1 still.
All right. Well, I kind of like it. I kind of like that you could get him there. I just don't see Daly winning or getting into top 3. I always see him in the best he can get is maybe top 5, but it's hard to see if Palou is going to be who he is. If Joseph actually keeps it together, then he should be up there, and maybe even Power too. He could be up there as well. Scott, it's going to be pretty crowded. Pato should be in the mix. He really should. So,
yeah, Malukas is 350 on Bet365, so that helps a little bit. Another 50 points. Let's see, one more. Bet Rivers has him at 325. Which I've been getting, like, Bet Rivers has just been like a black hole for me. No matter what, I could bet like Palou to, lead a lap, and I'll still somehow lose it. And so they've just been throwing profit boosts and free money at me, begging me to keep betting on there because Bet Rivers has gone so poorly.
Yeah, they've been interesting. I don't know. Like, they've been also very weird when it comes to F1. Okay, well, let's actually shift to GridRival. At least we can count on them to have some stuff. So we are, I think we've had some picks floating around. Let me see what I've already actually picked.
Yeah, I missed out on the initial wave. I'm kind of bummed I missed Pato at 5.5. So
I'm
getting Pato in the.
Yeah, and it's funny is I saw it there and I was like, you know what, I'm going to be doing that. I'm going to probably do that with Foster because I really like the Foster Wars. And then I just, something came up with work and then I was like, I'll come to it later. That was a mistake. You should just take it. And then next thing you know, it's already at 4.5. So I was like, whatever, I'm not gonna mess with it at this point. Maybe it's better because it seems like we're more successful, at least in my GridRival. I'm more successful after qualifying with race day picks. It just, works out better. I mean, so I only did one, which I did Malukas better at 9.5 with Foster Wars at 15.5. I really did like that one. And then I said, you know what, I'm going to temper and see now that and I actually did a fun one. So this is the last weekend for, you're going to see F1, Xfinity, NASCAR, and IndyCar on GridRival. So I said, fuck it, I'm going to do an 8 card and I'm going to pick 2 drivers from each series. And so I stuck Lundgaard at Worst 10.5 with Rossi Worst at 10.5. Just, it was a $5 slip for an 8 card. Yeah. It's ridiculous. So I have it going with some F1 and Xfinity and NASCAR. So we'll see if that hits.
I think all good things are true this weekend. So just
actually, I'm looking at it. Somehow I got more than I put. I didn't mean to do that, but
you're actually in for 50.
God, thank God it's not. No, it actually looks like I've double booked it. How did I do that? I have 2 plays of this. Well, now I hope this hits. That's weird. Oh, well. Looks like I've done 2. But let's talk about it.
Well, I missed out on that Malukas number. I think he moved down 1, which gets a little tight there. I like where you have Malukas. I took one card with VK better than 14.5.
I actually really
And
do like that. So go on.
yeah, but his floor is in that 15 range.
Mm-hmm.
That's, even when he qualifies poorly, I don't often mess with VK because it's hard to know. But um, I I think Dale Coyne does a good job of strategy. His floor is about that number, so if he just goes one above his floor, that's a hit. I took the Louis Foster worse than 15. He's been struggling.
Mm-hmm.
He's actually probably been one of the worst Rahal cars in a way, even though you would think it'd be Devlin. I went back to Santino better at 11 and a half. He's had a rough month or so, but Santino in the top 10 has over the last like 2 or 3 years has been such an easy hit in a way that he was successful here last year. I actually faded Felix at 11 and a half. Even when Felix qualifies well, he is just he doesn't manage like the tough stints very well.
He sucks at
Felix,
it. He sucks.
yeah, he'll have you if you're fading him, he'll have you kind of scared for or feeling good if you bet on him for the first like half the race, and then he just at a certain point he gets chewed up. He gets caught in the middle of like three wides and stuff, and maybe ends up wrecking. So next, I also faded Lundgaard. I know he's been good, but I don't think Lundgaard is a top 10 oval driver yet. Is what I'm basing that on. He very well could keep improving. I don't think McLaren is quite as strong here as they were at Milwaukee. And then I went with Ericsson better than 10.5. And again, I don't think Ericsson's like going to hit a podium or anything this week, but he's kind of shown that his floor is kind of that 10th and nice, steady, consistent. Um, and then he's got, the Ganassi. They tested here. I know I'm fading Felix, but yeah, that's where I'm at.
Yeah, I'm tempted to do something with VK, but might wait. I
Yeah,
mean,
it is possible you get a better. I think GridRival understands, especially with how good he's been on the fantasy side, that VK is a guy that can move up. So I don't know how much they move his number, but I do think there's an opportunity where VK doesn't qualify well. Maybe get one or two positions back
but
on
even if
that.
he qualifies in that range, it may not even move much. That's the reason why I
It's
kind of
true.
want to book something. And I keep looking at Ferrucci, and I feel like I'm always on the opposite end of Ferrucci. When I want to fade him, he does just really well, and then when I'm backing him, it's like, where the hell are you? I'm never on the right end of that man. Same with Felix, but I think that's just negligence on my end. Uh, he fooled me, is what I would say at the beginning of the year. I was like, oh wait, maybe they changed. They've turned a new leaf, but nope, he's still the same old Felix. So let's maybe do, and I don't want to tie it again with Foster. You know what? I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do, or maybe I will do 3 card, but then I'm afraid of Felix for some reason.
Yeah,
And
and especially when he lays down such good laps. He started third here last year, but then he finished, classic. He finished last because he wrecked. Um, it's tough because he's got the pace, man. He's a good driver, but he just struggles late in the stints and managing that.
what about? Yeah, I will. I'm gonna. I'm gonna stick with this too, and I'll go with that. Uh, yeah, maybe I'll just stick with that. I don't know. I think that's, yeah. I'm gonna do better. Fuck it, we're doing it. That will be my official last Grid Rival Apex Insiders season finale, sponsored by insert here card. There it is. It's in. All right. Yeah. So, any last thoughts going into tomorrow before we sign off?
I'm just ready to put it out in the positive end. I know it's going to finally happen, whether it's something's hitting.
You know what? It would be nice if we could just end the season with some profits. So we'll see. We'll see, man. So, all right. Well, to the listeners, get into Discord. It's going to be very active tomorrow morning. So F1's going to be right into FP3. I will not be up for that, but qualifying, I think it's at 8 a.m. or 9 a.m. Eastern, and then we'll go right into practice. I think we'll be right after that, and then we got some football. Go Longhorns! So
Good weekend. We
sir.
get the day. Well, I'd hope most people have the day off Monday. So.
Oh yeah.
Heat
Hopefully.
it up.
Hopefully. All right, man. Well, we'll see ya.
Later.